Our today's lesson is on stretching, shrinking, and reflecting the graph of f of x equals x squared. Recall the graph of f of x equals x squared. We can get that easily by substituting values for x. Let's say x is 0. Let's try 1 and 2. Say 0, 1, 2, 3. So the rule is x squared. So 0 squared, we know is 0. I know that 1 squared is just 1. And 2 squared, I know is 4. And I know that 3 squared is 9. And these are the points you want to plot on the graph. So let's take a look at that. All right. On this one, we know that the y-axis is my line of symmetry. So I could try 0, 0, 1, because 1 squared is 1, and 2 squared is 4. Go up 1, 2, 3, 4. And 3, I go up 9. But notice it's just half of the graph. The other half, you have to count over from the line of symmetry, which is the y-axis here. So I went over 1 unit. I can go over 1 unit to the left here. I went over 2 units to the right here, so I can go 2 units to the left here, make a point. I can go over 3 units to the left here. And you're going to get this parabola shape. Okay, what happens if I have 2x squared though? So let's try 0, 1, and 2. So look, if I put in 0, you know we're going to get 0. If I plug in 1, I get 1 squared, which is 1, and 2 times 1 is 2. If I plug in 2, I get 2 squared, which is 4, but then 2 times 4 is 8. So you want to plug in these numbers. All right, here's the original graph of f of x equals x squared. And if I plug in the other ones, let's see. If I plug in 0, I get 0 still. I plug in 1, I get 2. So I go up 1, 2. If I plug in 2, I get 8. Here's 2, and I have to go up 8. And you can reflect evenly across the x-axis. I went over 1 unit here, so I go over 1 unit. I went over 2 units here, so I go over 2 units in this direction. So notice that it kind of shrinks down from the original graph. Okay, the 1/2. F of x equals 1/2 times x squared. All right, let's try 0, 1, and 2. Or actually, I'm going to keep it even. Let's try 0, 2, 4. All right, so I get 1/2 times 0 squared. It's still going to be 0. If I square 2, I get 4 times 1/2, or divided by 2, that's going to give me 2. If I square 4, I get 16, and divide that by 2, I get 8. So let's see what that looks like. All right, here's the original graph of f of x equals x squared. And we gotta have these new points now we're going to plot and see what it looks like compared to the original graph. We had 4, 8. Okay, so 0, 0 still 0, 0. Then I count over 2 and I go up 1, 2. I can go over 4 and count up 8. And I can do the same thing to the opposite side. Up here, I went over 2 units from the y-axis, so I can go over 2 units to the left to make a point. Went over, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I can go over 1, 2, 3, 4 units to the left. And you create your graph. Notice that it's stretched. It's wider. Okay. Let's look at the reflecting. So we have f of x equals negative x squared. So let's plug in 0. Let's try 1, 2. You know this is going to be 0. Now when it comes to this, it's going to be 1 squared, and the negative comes last. So it's not going to be positive 1. That's going to be 1. 1 squared is 1, but then the negative attached to it last. So that'll be negative 1. Likewise here, this is 2 squared, but that's going to be 4, and then the negative comes afterwards. So this is not positive 4, but negative 4. So let's see what we get. Now here's my original graph. 0, 0 is still a point on here. And then let's say I plot 1, negative 1. Okay, well, I have to go to the right 1 and I go down 1. And then let's say 2, negative 4. I go to the right 2, I go down 1, 2, 3, 4. And I can reflect over the y-axis is the line of symmetry there. I go over 1 unit. I went over 2 units here, so I go over to the left 2 units. And this is my graph. And if you look at it, you notice it reflects from the original graph, x equals x squared. F of x equals x squared. So this is just a reflection. All right, this concludes my lesson for today.